Welcome to Dial Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, Tzu Chi volunteers around the globe are holding ceremonies to celebrate the upcoming Buddha Day, Mother's Day, and Global Tzu Chi Day. Employment service centers in Taiwan are now able to help the handicapped find a suitable job, and we meet one beneficiary of the service, Xifu. And with Nurses Day coming, Taichung and Dalin Tzu Chi hospitals are expressing their gratitude to their nursing staff. We kick off today's program in the United States, where the US Tzu Chi headquarters also recently celebrated the NGO's 47th birthday by holding a pilgrimage. While some prayed for the world's living, many participated in hopes of cleansing their minds and purifying their spirit.
Early morning at the US Tzu Chi headquarters, people are already presenting offerings to the Buddha. Outside, a pilgrimage begins accompanied by pleasant bird songs.
3, 4, stand by, 5. Stand by.
Bound by their earthly attachments, people suffer because of their body, mind, and speech. The pilgrimage helps the participants purify themselves in these areas.
Today, through paying respects to the Buddha, we disciplined our body. Through chanting the name of the Buddha, we polished our speech. Through contemplating the Buddha, we cultivated our mind. So we diminished the 3 poisons through worship and focus our minds on service and giving. We are truly grateful. In celebration of Tzu Chi's 47th anniversary, many local volunteers mobilized their whole family to participate, for they appreciate that great love knows no bounds. My mom was born in the same year as Master Zeng Yan. The date of my birth coincides with the founding date of Tzu Chi.
Many participate in the arduous trek, not just for themselves, but on behalf of others. Grandpa Xie can no longer kneel, but he prays for the world's living. His daughter, who is a doctor, prays for her patients.
Now full of Dharma joy, when I start work tomorrow, I will be in good spirits and happy to treat my patients.
The world is beautiful because there are compassionate people everywhere who are always ready to step up and do the right thing. In the United States, Tzu Chi volunteers are also doing their part by being a spring of purification.
In Taiwan, as Tzu Chi's Buddha Day celebration is fast approaching, to make it more convenient for elderly people to attend the ceremony, Penghu Tzu Chi volunteers held a Buddha Day ritual in a local community. Let's take a look. Hello everyone, we're your good neighbors and volunteers from the Tzu Chi Foundation. We're holding a Buddha Day ceremony in the community. Please feel free to join us.
Upon hearing the broadcast, many seniors quickly gather at the community's public space. This is Senior Chen, who in the past drove her electric vehicle to attend the Buddha Day ceremony held at the local Jingsi Hall. As this year's ceremony is taking place in her community, it has not only been easier for her to attend, but she has been joined by many of her neighbors as well.
It is not as convenient to attend the ceremony at the Jingsi Hall. If the ceremony can be held in our community every year, it will be much easier for us to attend.
Among the participants is caregiver Aya, who comes from Indonesia. In spite of the religious differences, the ceremony has deeply touched her heart.
你的心怎么样？跟我们分享一下。慢慢来，
慢慢来。
高兴。怎么个高兴法？不会讲。
今天所真的可以感受。
We're very grateful to the Tzu Chi volunteers for holding the Buddha Day ceremony in our community. Through the ceremony, we have learned more about the Buddha and have gained spiritual wisdom.
Every year, Tzu Chi's Buddha Day ceremony not only gives everyone a chance to pray for blessings for both themselves and others, but also brings peace and harmony into communities island-wide.
Also celebrating the Buddha Day in advance are Tzu Chi volunteers in Singapore who organized a ceremony at the Institute of Mental Health for their long-term care recipients there. Volunteers hope that the patients can find serenity and peace through the solemn occasion.
With the same solemn grace found at a large-scale Buddha Day ceremony, Tzu Chi volunteers are here at the Institute of Mental Health to celebrate Buddha Day with patients.
All this while, the patients have been cooped up in their rooms. The staff invited us to come here and interact with them, so they don't feel so cut off from the outside world.
现在我们请执承委员们带领院友们一起来依佛，礼佛足。
Under the guidance of volunteers, the patients pay their respects to the Buddha with reverence and sincerity. Tzu Chi volunteers' monthly visits and unfaltering care for the patients over the past decade has built a solid relationship over the years.
Each time after they receive a haircut, they will run to the mirror to check themselves out. They check to see if they look good or not. We will tell them they look great, and that if they like the haircut, they should come again the following month.
Some of the patients were running a fever, so we discontinued the visit for about 4 months. When we visited them again, one Malaysian patient burst into tears and told us she was so happy to see us again.
Volunteers also prepared carnations on behalf of the patients to give to the medical staff as a way to express their gratitude for the staff's selfless care.
And I can see the patients are very enlightened. They are very happy that at least for once somebody has come to them to meet their religious needs. So this is very important because when we treat the patients, we have to treat them holistically, whether physically, mentally, socially, as well as spiritually.
The Buddha Day ritual not only cleanses hearts, but also brings serenity and comfort to these patients.
In our next report, we visit the Chen family of 4 generations. The patriarch of the family is 97-year-old Grandpa Chen, who has 5 children, all of whom later settled with their families near him. Despite having 26 members in the family relations have remained harmonious due to Grandpa Chen's emphasis on unity when managing household affairs.
高不高兴？高兴。谢谢大家来照顾我。谢谢大家。
Senior Chen, a former recipient of Taipei's Model Father Award, turned an amazing 97 years old this year. Hanging behind him in his living room is an oil painting of Chen and his family 30 years ago.
The father is the most important, so he is at the top. Here is my mother.
The painting was done by Senior Chen's third eldest son, Chen Shilun. Chen Shilun, along with his 4 brothers and sisters, still lives within walking distance of his father, which means the 26 family members of this family of 4 generations sees each other frequently.
In the past, we all lived in an old government housing for military dependents on Wolong Street. We all lived together, as he didn't want the family to split apart.
Although slightly hard of hearing, Senior Chen remains in good health. In his hands is one of his most treasured possessions, a book compiled by his children that records all the memories and images of his wife that passed away 19 years ago.
Although this book was made 20 years ago, when I see the pictures inside of my mother, I feel that my mother is still in my heart and by my side.
Every year on Tomb Sweeping Day, we will drive together to our mother's grave. And although Dad is old and has difficulty walking, he still insists on coming along.
However, with 4 generations living in such close proximity, one wonders if frequent conflicts arise as a result. Chen Shilun says that his father had a very unique way of ensuring family harmony.
Of course, there will be arguments, but to ensure such arguments didn't affect the overall harmony of the family. My father taught us that elders must yield to those younger, and members of our family should yield to those who marry into our family. This is how he governed our family.
Accompanying Senior Chen on a morning walk is the family's eldest son, a responsibility he attends to daily. As well, Senior Chen's 5 sons and daughters make it a point to come together once a week to be with each other and their father.
Filial piety actually is 2 things in my mind. One is to be obedient. The other is to be there to accompany them. Especially when parents get old, we should always try to be by their side, listening to their wishes. I think as a family, we have done this very well.
On average, disabled individuals find it difficult to make ends meet, and the reason behind this is that finding a suitable job they enjoy is not an easy task. Therefore, many disadvantaged will seek help from employment service centers for the disabled, where experienced caseworkers will assist them in finding a suitable career. And in our next report, we meet Xifu, who was placed at a job in a clothing accessories company.
After I registered and talked with the caseworker, the next day I had an interview. I still remember her name. I thought, wow, she's so persistent and motivated. So if someone is willing to help me out, the least I can do is give myself a chance, right?
Xifu suffers from mild physical disabilities, but with the help of the Disabled Employment Service Center, he has found work at this clothing accessories factory. Wu has been working here for close to 2 years now, and today his caseworker has come to do a routine follow-up.
Are you encountering any problems at work lately?
Lately, I've been mistyping information on documents.
Oh, so then what happens? How does the company handle that?
My co-workers will fix it for me.
Well, maybe after you finished your work, you can ask your co-workers or supervisor to take a look first before you hand it in.
I haven't thought of that.
Yes, why don't you try that next time?
The task of helping out disadvantaged employees isn't just about job placement, but also helping individuals to fit in their work environment.
Some people might not be able to get past their own disability at first, so they will shy away. When I feel we start establishing a relationship with them, we need to first help them find their confidence. Then secondly, to let them get to know themselves and the environment they will be working in. Xifu continues to seek self-improvement. He will think about what he wants to do and research information on it and do things to the best of his abilities.
Wu's tiny stature does not hinder his ability to put his all into his work. He continues to seek advancement in his workplace, as to not let his caseworker or employer down.
I reached a plateau in my work that I can't overcome, so I thought, why not leave the office and learn something new to see if it helps me.
Wu does not let his disadvantage affect him, as he learned how to operate machinery that is almost the same height as him. As his possibility of work hazards is higher than that of a normal worker, it's important for Wu's company to adapt his workstation to match his needs. This is also something that the caseworker should look into when first matching jobs.
In operating dangerous machinery, besides doing the basic preventive steps, familiarization of the machines is a must. I can use what I know of the machinery to teach him how to best operate it within his abilities. Later on, he will also be able to tell when he should ask for help, who to ask for help, and so on. I'm considered lucky, as my co-workers and I get along very well. We respect one another. I'm very thankful. This job has taught me many things. Like if I'm willing to give myself a chance, then there are still those in society and the workplace that will accept me. But you must take the first step.
With the help of his caseworker, Xifu finally believes in himself And with his newfound confidence, he is now able to conquer all obstacles that may come his way.
Moving to China's Sichuan province, we meet 70-year-old senior Tzu Chi volunteer Yan Chuan-Tian, who has been taking part in the relief work to assist disaster survivors following the 420 earthquake. After encountering Tzu Chi in the 2008 Wenchuan earthquake, Yan no longer goes around temples praying for blessings, but instead seizes each opportunity to give.
我们家就在这美如花园里面。
就在县城里面。
This is 70-year-old Yan Chuan-Tian, who's the oldest Tzu Chi volunteer helping out at the disaster zone here in Lushan County, Sichuan Province. When others ask her why she insists on helping out, she says,
因为我们年纪大嘛。
I am old, so I need to seize every chance to do Tzu Chi. We can't just sit there and do nothing because of our old age. We need to think of those in the disaster zone.
Before the Wenchuan earthquake, Yan used to pray in temples all the time. However, after meeting Tzu Chi, she realized that it is much more meaningful to encourage those around her to do good deeds than to pray for personal blessings.
I used to pray in the temples all the time. I really liked Guanyin Bodhisattva. We are here to help the needy just like Guanyin Bodhisattva. Everyone here is a living Bodhisattva.
In spite of the long distance between her home in Dazhou and the disaster zone, with determination, Yan has overcome the physical obstacles and arrived in Lushan County to help those in greater need.
Staying in Lushan County of Sichuan, as survivors of the Ya'an earthquake are living in makeshift tents and cooking their meals around the temporary shelters, government officials assigned a firefighter to each area and also carried out fire drills to ready everyone in case of an emergency. At the temporary shelters in Lushan County, Sichuan Province, fire engines arrived to put out a blaze and also to evacuate all the residents to a safer location. As most of the disaster survivors are living in makeshift tents and are cooking their meals around the tent areas, government officials thoughtfully organized fire drills to prevent any tragic accidents from occurring.
The fire drill is aimed at helping residents and firefighters understand what to do in case of a blaze, and those volunteering to help learn how to evacuate everyone.
Through practical fire drills like this, we are able to minimize the occurrence of any accidents, as we hope those who were devastated by the tremor do not have to suffer from any more tragedy.
This Sunday, May 12th, marks the Mother's Day, Buddha Day, Global Tzu Chi Day, as well as the International Nurses Day. At the Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital, we meet Xu Yuzhen, who has been devoted to her job for nearly 20 years. But first, we join the superintendent of the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital and Tzu Chi volunteers as they go around to each ward to express their gratitude to the nursing staff. Pushing a trolley loaded with gifts and food, Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital Superintendent Chen and Tzu Chi volunteers are visiting each department and ward to express their gratitude to their hardworking nursing staff.
Tzu Chi brothers and sisters, as well as all our staff, hope that they can feel our care and thanks and know that they are not alone on the front line. We are there to support them, and we will all work together to pass on our love and care to our patients.
In sincere gratitude, the superintendent even got up early to cook his specialty, boiled eggs, to share with the nursing staff at the hospital.
We already feel very loved this morning. With Nurses' Day and Mother's Day coming, our superintendent and doctors, as well as our brothers and sisters, are here to support us and bring us lots of delicious food and presents. We are moved and grateful.
Next, arriving at the surgery ward, the nursing staff there thoughtfully prepared flowers for either mothers, as Mother's Day happens to fall on Nurses' Day this year. The support and love of volunteers and supervisors gives these medical staff the motivation to better care for their patients. Patiently guiding a family member through the steps of dealing with the wound, head nurse of Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital, Chen, has been in the field for nearly 20 years.
Working at the hospital, we get to see all the ups and downs in life, so I don't think too much. If the patients need something, we just try our best to help. This is a job that requires us to serve others and be conscientious.
With her heart ready to serve those in need, she is able to empathize with her patients and their family members.
Patients may be scared of even a little wound, but we, on the other hand, see it quite often. So we need to think from a patient's and their family's perspective. We should ask ourselves what we would want to know if we were the family member and tell them what we know so they won't be as afraid.
As a head nurse, she also passes on her knowledge and experience to her colleagues in hopes of inspiring them to treat patients as their own family. Coming together in prayer, Chen and other medical staff hope that through their collective care to safeguard the health of all those they meet. On Wednesday, May 8, 78-year-old Taiwan Tzu Chi volunteer Xu Tao passed away peacefully at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital. She lived with visually impaired volunteer Wang Gaochu, and both supported each other through life's many challenges. Though diagnosed with breast cancer several years ago, she led a simple life and donated money from the sale of her famous dumplings to Tzu Chi.
Chanting sutras to commemorate her lifetime devotion to Tzu Chi, volunteers are extending their best wishes through prayer to Tzu Chi volunteer Xu Tao, who passed away on the morning of May 8th. Tzu Chi volunteer Wang Gaochu lived with Xu Tao, and the two supported each other through life's thick and thin. The inspiring story of the two was even made into a Da'ai TV drama production. Having been diagnosed with breast cancer many years back, Xu often traveled back and forth to Hualien for treatment. Undefeated by her illness, Xu's biggest wish was to pass down her bok choy dumpling recipe.
If I'm no longer around, you have to pass this recipe down.
With the money made from the sale of these dumplings, Xu bought and donated a vehicle to Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, which was to be used for community medical services. Although life ended at 78 for Xu Tao, both she and her sister Xu Yun signed consent forms to donate their bodies for the advancement of medical science.
At that time, body donations were not widely accepted and many people rejected the idea. However, if we can still serve a purpose, even upon our passing, then this is what we should do.
Although Xu Tao has passed on, her spirit of great love remains in this world forever.
We go to the United States at the end of today's program and join Tzu Chi volunteers and students of the Tri-Valley Tzu Chi Academy as they hold their first event to celebrate Mother's Day. Students and volunteers alike all serve tea to their mothers to express their gratitude. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.